Should you back Cake of Doom? Yes, and it's one that I'm also adding to my collection too, even if it is a little pricey for the type of game you're getting. But before I tell you more about this lovely indie game, my name is Sam, this is Should You Back It, and I'm here to help you crowdfund with confidence. Cake of Doom is a light-hearted and casual card game for 3 to 6 players that'll take you about 15 to 30 minutes to play. The core pledge will set you back £20, and this is the first campaign for the co-designers Pearl Ho and Amar Chandarana. In Cake of Doom, you take on the role of an alien. You've just arrived to take over Earth, and in an attempt to find out the best way to appease Earthlings, you found that the only thing that every person wants is cake. So it's up to you to whip up a literal cake storm in order to control and capture as much of Earth as possible before other aliens arrive. The first player to capture 2 regions, as well as the democratic order of mankind, i.e. Doom, wins the game immediately. You see, every region in the game has a bribe value, a measurement of cake that will be sufficient in ensuring that that region pledges its loyalty to you. You'll choose a region you want and then decide which cake cards to play. You're aiming to at least match the bribe value on the region card, but certain cake cards can trigger effects or boosts to make the value of cakes you're placing down in your bribe even higher. But of course, this wouldn't be any fun if other players couldn't sabotage what you're doing, which they absolutely can by playing sabotage cards to attempt to lower the value of your cakes to such an extent that you fail to bribe. There are equally cards that enable you to steal cakes from others, to take cards from other players' hands, and without trying to devalue the work of the designers, a lot of the gameplay and card types will feel very familiar to other games of this type, like Exploding Kittens or family staples like Uno. That's not a bad thing at all, by the way. With this type of game, there are just things that work, but the designers have tried to introduce some new elements. Each player picks an alien card, which will grant you a unique ability. At the end of your turn, you don't just draw from one large deck like Exploding Kittens. Instead, you can draw from either the cake deck or the sabotage deck. So you've got to make a very conscious decision as to what strategy you want to lean into, which I really like. By the way, if you want to check out the campaign for this game, I do have a link for it down in the video description and in the pinned comments, so do feel free to go and check it out there to see what I'm talking about. So that's gameplay, but what about the people making the game itself? You see, in each of these Should You Back It videos, I do a risk assessment on the company or person or peoples making the game and take a look into the games they've previously made to see how they ran them in order for us to gain an understanding and get a glimpse into what our experience could be as a backer. As I've mentioned, this is the first Kickstarter from this team, but they're coming out of the gate swinging, and there's a lot that I've seen both on this campaign page and in my research that is really encouraging as a consumer. First of all, very simply, the campaign page looks incredibly professional. The artwork, the layout, and the incredibly meticulous breakdowns in shipping are a big thumbs up in communicating that they are serious about this. Another thing I really loved is the fact that the team have got a virtual demo of the game live and ready to be played on Tabletop Simulator, on Tabletopia, and ScreenTop.gg. They know they may not have the immediate buy-in from backers like other companies do, but they've taken steps to enable you to try the game and alleviate any concerns so that you feel more confident in your pledge and you know the type of game you're getting. Finally, one thing I noticed is that although there isn't a game company listed on the Kickstarter, from what I could see, I did notice that the creators have launched a company back in January, which I assume is the legal entity that all the funds will go through, which is not only legally smart, but equally an added step in reassuring backers so that they don't feel like their money is just going into the account of some random person, especially when they're a first-time creator. Normally, I would not give first-time creators a green rating on a risk assessment, but seeing the amount of time, effort, thought and care the team have put into this launch, as well as logistically knowing that this is a card game, there are just less things that can go fatally wrong, I feel confident in saying that this would be a safe back. I think you'll get your game. There may be some teething issues as it is the first campaign for this team, but I get the feeling that this team will be committed to seeing this through. So why should you back it? This looks like a fun, quick and accessible game that would easily find a place on the table as an appetizer game or as a quick portable game to play with friends. If you're a fan of games like Exploding Kittens and fun competitive card games with plenty of ways to screw over your fellow players, I think you'll really enjoy this. A price tag of £20 though is a little higher than I would have liked. £15 would have been ideal, but I'm more than happy to pay a little extra to support a first-time creator. I just worry that that higher price tag would price out international backers, especially in the States when you take into account that shipping to get there would cost more than the game does. As always though, this is just my recommendation, but hopefully you feel a little bit more informed. If you have found it helpful, I'd love it if you could hit the subscribe button. I'm a new channel trying to cover the games I think you're interested in, and your support really does help.